A very good afternoon to our audience gathered here today. And after talking about the beauty space, we now have Rahul from Razorpay, who's going to talk about the payment space particularly and how Razorpay is actually playing a role in easing out the journey for customers as well as retailers. So Rahul, thank you for joining us today for the fireside chat. Glad to have you.
Sure, thank you.
So Rahul, if I straight away get into the discussion mode and ask you about the kind of payment experience you are creating for retailers. So we all know that it has to be omni-channel for the customer. So how are you creating this seamless journey? Any thoughts around it?
Yeah, sure. First, hi everyone, and I think some of you might be aware of Razorpay. Maybe I'll talk a bit about what all Razorpay does, and then probably get into what we are doing to really creating the experience of your consumers, experience of the consumers of the brands far more seamless. So yeah, Razorpay is into end-to-end money movement, and we make the entire journey of money movement for accepting money from the consumers to disbursement, to making payrolls, to running loyalty for consumers, using payment as a mode for loyalty, making contextual payments, contextual loyalty is what we kind of really work on. And this is what we do. And then I will kind of answer your next question. What all we do to make really, how do we help different retailers in their entire business, in their payment journey, in their consumer journey? So one of the biggest trends which we are seeing in the market is more and more retailers going omni-channel, and there are 2 or 3 different reasons for retailers getting or brands getting into omni-channel strategy. First is, and if you look at, say, some of the consumer surveys, almost close to 70 to 80% of the consumers actually are omni-channel consumers. They will buy the same product in the offline space and the online space, or they will research about the product in the online space or buy in the offline space. Now, this is one of the biggest trends happening. Now, given we are into end-to-end money movement, we try to bring the entire experience of payments, entire experience of loyalty unified in omni-channel and in the omni-channel space for the retailers. So that's what the primary one of the biggest trends, and how do we get the retailers to either acquire consumers, either retain consumers, or grow consumers seamlessly in the omni-channel environment.
Okay, sure. And you talk about how technology is actually making it a seamless process. What aspects do you think are required in terms of making it? Are there any blocks which has to be rectified? Are there any challenges you've faced in that space, and how are you correcting them?
So sure. Of course, before how technology solves it, let me kind of recount one of the experiences as a consumer I had, and this was week before last, and then talk about how we are solving some of those challenges using technology. So I do trek a lot, and probably and a couple of weeks back I was at one of the stores to buy the trekking shoes, and when I was there, before that, I was on the online website of this brand and looked at different shoes, what kind of shoe I wanted to buy, probably what size will fit, etc. But before buying it, since I have a bit of a broad toe, I thought probably I'll go to the store and try it out, and maybe I'll buy it there itself. Once I reached there, I was almost kind of final with, okay, this is what I want to buy. Then I said, okay, what are the price, what discounts, offers, the typical kind of, a consumer habit. And there was no discounts, but when I was browsing it on site, there was 10% discount on the same set of shoes. So yeah, I was first, okay, why should I be even buying there? Like with 10% lesser price, you'd be delivering to my shop, why should I buy at my home, why should I buy at the shop itself? But despite it, okay, since I'm here, let me buy it. When I said, okay, which credit cards you use, and maybe let me as well kind of get 2% cashback and if not 10% discount. And unfortunately, at that store, at that point, they said they are not accepting credit card right now because of some machine issues or payment issues, and they're only accepting UPI. Now, this was a fairly broken experience for me. Now I can very clearly say for the brand that I was shopping for, I'm probably one of the top 1% of the consumers in terms of the spend I do. Because I do go for regular treks and stuff, I keep buying different things from that brand. And the kind of experience I had was not great enough. And if you think about it, why that bad experience happened for me? For 2 or 3 different reasons. First is, there was no way for this brand to know that when I go offline and buy something, I'm not the same Rahul who was buying online. The experience, had they known like the same Rahul who is kind of, so loyal, has been buying for so many years and has spent so much money with this brand, probably the experience, they would have actually given me king's treatment when I walked into the store. But they did not know this is the same Rahul who has come to the offline store. So that is the first challenge they have, is having the unique identifier of a consumer itself to know their experience in online and offline, or to have a unified profile of the consumer so that they can really engage and interact with them in the same way. Because, for example, any brand, like, I don't want to have a subpar treatment either online or offline, or at least a disparate treatment between the two things. So that's the first thing that is broken. The second thing, I think, which in this experience I can clearly tell you is broken, is making the payment itself was broken. And in general, when I think of the offline scenario, I think in general the innovation in payments in offline is far behind the innovations that happened in the online space. And I'll take another example for it, right?
Sure.
Say, many of you must have gone to some of these stores to buy your consumer goods, whether a fridge or whether a microwave or a mobile phone or those things. And many of us would be using the EMIs or affordability options to buy, say this fridge. And let me give you an example of experience, and I'm sure a lot of you must have seen that. At least what I had probably one and a half year back when I was out there to buy a mobile phone to one of the offline stores. Generally, I buy always online because it's far more seamless. But when I go offline, I had lost my phone. I wanted to kind of just get the phone immediately. So I thought, okay, let me walk into a store and buy a phone. So I went to the into the store. One of the organized retailers in India, decently around 100 odd stores, which sell kind of different things: mobile phones, fridge, microwave, etc. One of the well-known brands, not like a small shop. Yeah. And I chose, okay, this is the phone I wanted to buy. Then I was, okay, how do I pay for it? Are there, again, what are the different offers available? Because most of us would never buy a phone without an offer. Like, we are so spoiled for choices. The person said, okay, for finding the offers, you have to go to other desk, which had a Bajaj FinServ or a HDFC bank desk, and see whether you're eligible for the EMIs or not. So I went there, gave them my phone number. They kind of checked, okay, this is the eligibility I have. On HDFC, I showed my card, and they checked whether eligibility I have. I came back to the person selling and said, okay, they are saying you are eligible. But then he checked and said, okay, you are eligible for that phone model, but not for this phone model. So, okay, I went back, and there were 3 and 4 back and forth, and then finally I was able to. But finally, and a very, very, very interesting thing, finally, in fact, when I went back to the Bajaj FinServ desk, they said, okay, on this model you are eligible. When I went back, they said, okay, the model itself is not available in the store. So really, really kind of, broken journey, and that's why probably you see most of the people spending so much time on the offline store buying things. It's bad for consumer experience. It's bad for the retail stores itself, because typically they would like, people to come, have a good experience, buy and move away, and not the store itself being so crowded. So that's the second big challenge, right? The first I spoke about, unique identification of the consumer itself is a problem. The second is having a good experience of offline payments is a problem. These are the two biggest challenges. There are other challenges actually also internally within the companies. Say a finance professional in a company, when they're looking at reconciling how much the sales has been for this SKU online, say for example, product manager, for say, let's say example of the earlier talk we were having on the SS Beauty. Somebody is checking, okay, for say this specific brand of L'Oreal from Shoppers Stop, how much its overall sales is. The internal category manager would go on and check, okay, online what sales happened if on the website of Shoppers Stop, how much offline sales happened. Then to see what was the customer acquisition cost, what profitability, what inventory. Like, it's a huge kind of disparity of data within the company itself, because the systems of online, offline, etc. is very different. So the third, so this is a third problem that we solve. Like, the first, making the entire consumer uniquely identifier. Second is offline payment experience itself. And third is how do we help organizations internally work much more smoothly in solving these problems? Again, I can keep going on, but I'll
Sure.
let you kind of ask the next
So
set of
Rahul,
questions.
since you outlined 3-4 challenges that you typically deal with and retailers actually deal with in making this journey seem seamless for the customer. So I'm sure some of them would have been early adopters of this and some would have done a great work in this. So, I mean, what were their learnings and how quickly they adopted? Any case study, any experience you could share from that?
So sure. So we work with multiple small retailers who have gone or who go online. We have also worked with the large companies like say Decathlon, where the entire omnichannel experience we are part of, like online payments, offline payments, loyalty, multiple things. So lot of learnings, and probably I'll share some of those learnings and how actually Razorpay has solved for it. Now, one of the, like I'm sure a lot of people in this entire here in day to day are small retailers who are looking at going online. Also large brands who are offline and looking at going online. Now, one of the biggest challenge that they have is the people or the DNA that they have in the organization is primarily offline centric. And therefore, for them to go online actually is quite difficult. And I've seen most of the times they do quite poor job at going online. Like I can take example, say one of, so again about a couple of weeks back, I was in discussion with one of the largest fashion houses senior management. And when I was looking at, okay, and we were just talking, while they have great experience offline, online they had 5 or 6 different websites for 5 different fashion brands, slow, buggy, simple things like, you know, if you put some say some pin code wrong, and the next tab, the website would not load, I can't even go back. I have to start again filling the entire information again. Extremely poor journey online. Now, this fundamentally happens because most of these large brands thinks that, okay, because we are a large brand, we are going online, we will try to kind of build online, in-house almost everything as we go online. I think that's what one of the biggest, I think, changes that happen. Now, and same happens for the smaller retailers as well. And how Razorpay play in that picture. First, my advice would be like whenever you are going online, typically start with some of the proven SaaS models, like having the shopping cart with Shopify, having the payment options with Razorpay, having one-click checkout that we have, which creates a great experience in, say, refunds or payments or recovery of the consumers, payments, etc. So one is solutions for typically large or small players going online first, pretty much are similar, and they have to do the things in a smaller way, but much better consumer experience when they go online first. I think, and that's where Razorpay plays quite big role. That is first. I think the second important thing that we have seen, some of the large players large online players, when they go offline, typically they would be thinking of all the stages of the consumer experience, but they would think of the stage of the payment experience at the end. Because they, in a way, I think it's like it's given that, okay, with the UPI everywhere, the payments is sorted for. But believe me, UPI, while solves for multiple things, it does not solve most of the things for your most premium and loyal customers. Like, for example, if you're running a loyalty program, it's impossible to do loyalty program on payments on UPI as of today. You have to do on credit cards, you have to, or whether doing the affordability is one of the biggest things for your premium customers. That is solved right. Also with UPI, like now a lot of things can be done contextualized. Razorpay has a solution called Super QR, where in the UPI payment itself, it identifies it's Rahul, it shows the offers on the, while I'm doing a scanning and making a payment on through UPI, I can use credit card over the top of UPI as well. So this entire, I think, second thing, how to think of the payment experience while going offline is extremely important and differentiator. To an extent, if you think about it, like we have recently worked with Apple resellers in India, and I think the first launch has happened in Mumbai itself a few months back, that while Apple's spending so much of effort in the overall consumer experience, I think it was only about a couple of months back when we launched with them the DigiPOS, which was the first time they were selling, Apple devices in store using the iPad or the Mac. Before that, they were not even able to do it. So payment experience at the last leg generally is broken, and kind of thinking of it proactively, I think, has worked well. And at Razorpay, we work very closely with it.
Sure.
And yeah, sorry. And the third point, when I talked about like what is broken, is from the loyalty perspective. Uh, Today, there is a lot of, like today, marketers, I'm sure some marketers are there in this forum as well. They spend a lot of money acquiring the right consumers. But once they acquire the consumer, they would make some transactions. Maybe they will make the first transaction and then they go away. Or when they are running the campaigns to get the consumers, they do not know by spending the same amount of money whether they got like one person, like a person A who is like not even interested versus person B who can really spend a lot on that. But your CAC are still, your customer acquisition costs are still the same. And even for retention, they don't know whom to retain and what to do. Or even to grow. See, today almost whatever we can talk about, like, say we have some PMMs also sitting here, but even the money that we spend on the marketing campaigns are only customized to the level that your social media profile or demographic profile is. What Razorpay enables is by using your payment transaction data, how you can, and again in a right anonymized way, to kind of see what was your really intent, whether you have capability to pay, whether, like for example, you have recently bought, say, a suitcase, maybe your next buy as a probably flight ticket is very high propensity to buy. How do you kind of run those right kind of campaigns using very specific data to consumers to get a maximum ROI for a marketing spend is what we kind of help on.
So AI is usually doing it.
Sorry?
AI is already doing
Yeah,
it.
and we do use, again, of course, AI is doing it. And as Razorpay, we are spending a lot on building these kind of AI engines. AI needs a lot of good data to kind of run on, and Razorpay has the data which can make this AI very powerful. And of course, again, as I said, the data has to be used very judiciously in the right way to make sure the consumer privacy and all those things are not impacted.
So while sitting on tons of data and also using multiple gateways for payments, I mean, how much of a concern is security when you're operating in that environment?
Yeah, I think again, security, that's just the right question. See, first of all, Razorpay has a lot of data, that's true, and that's one of the very important asset we have as we go forward and we build very strong loyalty solutions, help businesses to retain their consumers, acquire consumers for them. But also, Razorpay is first of all, okay, the compliance and adhering to regulation is one of the most important things around it. In India also, with the overall data protection guidelines, some of these recommendations are very clear, and we provide disproportionate focus to make sure this data is kind of really well protected, both in terms of the infosec perspective where others are not able to get access to the data, like whether hackers and all those things. And secondly, also we use this data in the very right way where it does not invade consumers' privacy. It does not have a lot of like I think in one of the earlier sessions somebody was talking about having bombardment of campaigns to the consumers. It should not happen. And also Razorpay is a regulated entity as a fintech by RBI, so all those checks and balances are in place.
Okay, sure. So at this point, I would also like to ask our audience, in case they have any questions, please raise your hand and ask your questions. Okay. Can we please have the mic here?
Hi. So, Rahul, great chat, of course.
Thank
And
you.
as you said, that unified payment solution is the way for our retail atmosphere to go completely omni-channel. But in this, there are also a lot of deterrents, right? From if you're buying offline and paying online, or paying online and buying offline. So how is Razorpay making this entire journey seamless? If you can just tell us from just this point of view, that how the customer and the retailers can gain, as much as they can.
No, I think this is thank for this question because this is fundamentally at the heart of what we do. See, first let's look at the offline retailers who want to go online. One of the biggest challenge that they have is typically the offline retailers would not be having, or especially small retailers, do not have a tech teams which can help them take online. And therefore, Razorpay has been working and seamless, like, really for so many years, and that's what a differentiator as well, how we can take businesses online without really a requirement of the tech functional knowledge. Something like, say, a no-code integration, something like payment pages, where you don't even need your create your website to sell products, payment links, payment pages. So small businesses who want to go online, we have all these tools which are, in my mind, as easy as, say, installing a WhatsApp of a phone and kind of, chatting. It's as easy to kind of, start accepting payments online from your consumers, kind of displaying some of your products on our payment pages, those things. So I think that's one thing for small retailers who we do kind of very seamlessly how to take them online. Now let's take at the bigger businesses who want to go online. When they go online, they have multiple challenges, right? Right from how to get a strong online presence, how to do overall right kind of marketing campaigns, how to get the right logistics partners, and how to make payments. So while we do not play in the entire value chain, of course we have close integrations with the other players, with partners who have very close kind of, who play part in this value chain. For example, if you want to go online, having a good website or a shopping cart is important. So we have very close integrations with Shopify and other shopping carts. If you want to use a distribution partner, we have very close integration with ShipRocket. For payments, we ourselves are kind of one of the most biggest innovators out there. We also help on COD refunds with our data, etc. So that's how we kind of really help the medium to large players to go online. From affordability perspective, simple widgets, all of those things we do. Now, if you look at the other perspective, the online payments companies who want to go offline, over there we are the biggest innovators of the payments and the affordability stack that we have, and we have a booth out here today which has like the most innovative payment device. Typically, you would see only those swipe machines to make payments in offline world and a store. We have a lot of innovations which can be done differently, which we have kind of demonstrated in our on our booth, including like things like Super QR, where you can do QR payments, not only UPI, but for cards on UPI and those things. And the last part, also how to drive, while the online merchants still know how to drive loyalty online, for doing it offline, we have solutions like BillMe, where we have digital invoices, which can have customized kind of offers for the consumers who buy things offline and so on. So again, across the value chain, either we enable a part or we have close tie-up with partners who enable that part, and again, very closely linked with technology. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from our audience? Okay. So on that note, I would just ask for your concluding remarks before we end the session.
No, great. First, I think, thank you for all the questions and thanks for the question. I think my only point would be today, for retailers, to be omni-channel is not a choice. It's a necessity. Yeah. If you are not doing it, either you are not listening to your consumers or you are not on top of the trends that happen in the market. More importantly, for offline to go online or online to go offline is not as difficult as most companies or especially most small businesses would think. It's far more seamless. It's just that you need to first be sure that you have to take a call that you have to go online or offline, and then there are multiple players like Razorpay and our partners who can help you really traverse that journey. So yeah, that would be my concluding remark.
I think, of course, thank you, Rahul, for simplifying the process of omnichannel for retailers for us.
Sure, thanks a lot, and thanks everyone.